right? Most mayors in years past did at best 3 terms. I'm finishing my 4th, God willing, running now for my 5th. So by God's grace. I just want to say what a special treat it is and what a special gentleman you have as a pastor. You joined us in the lectern last week as we memorialized those souls that were lost in the greatest generation and all the conflicts that the United States have. And as I hear all these beautiful countries, from Botswana, South Africa, Jamaica, I think not only to my own livelihood as an immigration lawyer, but the golden experiment that this country forebodes, where a Jew and a Christian can regale the Sabbath together in the same way. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be celebrating the 40th, a journey of a lifetime. And I called the pastor yesterday, and he said he's going to focus on the journey from Egypt, from Mitzrayim, to Canaan, to Canaan, the promised land. Now, we practice law. We never perfected. My father, rest his soul, passed away in January. And I'm saying the mourner's prayer for him 3 times a day. And I had to be in my synagogue bright and early to say the prayer and then walk here to meet my brothers and sisters. We are an experiment, this country. But God's gift, God's grace, actually went to the children of Israel. And our sages asked, why are we the children of Israel and not Abraham or Isaac? Were we not the children of Abraham rather than Israel? Why did God choose us to be named after Israel, Jacob, and not Abraham? And if you look at the Bible, you'll see an extraordinary experience. You'll never see Abraham engaging in the book of Genesis at all with his grandchildren, Yaakov and Esau, Jacob and Esau. You'll never see that. In the Bible, you'll never see any interaction between Isaac and his grandchildren and granddaughter Dinah, the 12 tribes. But we do see an extraordinary experience between Jacob and his grandchildren, Ephraim and Manasseh, when he blesses them and he crosses his hands. He was the only patriarch that we see that reached that next generation. We are the children of Israel. Not only do we have to regale our history, our legacy, but we also have to make sure that we pay it forward to the following generation. We are judged not by what we do only for our children, but by the content and the character and the people that our grandchildren present as well. Such an important message. And I regale in that when I go to church because I think it's a message that this church carries forward. It has a lot to do with content of character, has a lot to do with our times. This past week, my brothers and sisters regaled Yom Yerushalayim, the Day of Jerusalem. And we, in this portion of the week, and we read every week a different portion of the Bible, we started Bamidbar. Bamidbar is the book of Numbers. It's an extraordinary thing, but that book is named after a census. And we see that God graciously counts and counts the children of Israel repeatedly. There were 3 times that he did it. He did it when he took the Jews out of Egypt on the way to Canaan. He did it when we fell into the sin of the golden calf. And he did it when God caused his presence to dwell among them in the tabernacle that they carried in the Mishkan on the way to the Holy Land. We didn't feel worthy. We felt vulnerable. We count things that are important to us. The message to us in this generation, the modern day generation, and why was the Day of Jerusalem next to the portion where we read such a census? It's good for an accountant. When I sat today in synagogue and you hear the regaling of who was the son of so-and-so and how many people there were, it sounded like an accounting test. But why is the Jerusalem Day next to this portion that we read this week? And it's a simple message. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, that God has not abandoned us in our modern history. Imagine in the 1967 war, and the statistics were extraordinary, 465,000 troops, 2,800 tanks, 800 aircraft, and the teeny state of Israel, in a defensive maneuver, decided to attack rather than be slaughtered. And in the course of literally 6 days, they were able to get themselves back to the Mount of the Temple, where the chief rabbi, Rabbi Goren, was able to then blow a shofar, a ram's horn, where the Jews had not been prayed for more than 2,000 years. That is why we are counted. That is why we have to appreciate in modern day the experience of having God in us. And as we feel more vulnerable as a community, we have to regale in those lessons of history. And the fact is, when we are afraid, we have to remember we are not alone. And God counts all of his children. And we as an example to other nations have to embrace one another as graciously as he loves us as well. I want to say thank you for the trust that you placed in me. I know you'll be hearing through three of Englewood's finest, our police officers here, with a wonderful message from our police chief. This is a city that has such an intergenerational wealth of not just humanity, but some of the greatest entrepreneurs, physicians, scientists, mothers, fathers, and people who are just loving of one another. May God bless all of us. May God bless you. And again, a happy Sabbath.